You're not creatively blocked. You're afraid of being seen, of failing, of doing it badly. Here's where I belong now, high above the fear and doubt. So many of us wait for perfection. We wait for the perfect timing, the perfect things to happen, the perfect situation, for everything to end up perfect. Perfectionism is always disguised as procrastination because that's the only reason why you're waiting. It's not a reason, it's an excuse. When you're waiting around for perfectionism, all you're doing is self-sabotaging. How many people have you met, have you spoken to that have waited for anything to be perfect? How many of them said good things about when that time came? I promise you, you won't really find anybody. I promise you, the people who are successful will tell you that they created that moment, that time for themselves. They didn't wait, they just did it. I know that there are ways to always improve your ideas, to always make your ideas more grander, bigger, more exciting, more creative. I get that. But waiting for the perfect idea, especially as a creative person, as an artist, you'll always find ways to improve. So in reality, you're probably never going to find the perfect idea because you're always going to want more. You're always going to find more. You're always going to want to adjust things a little bit differently. Because if you're creative, that's who you are. That's what you do. So stop waiting for the perfect idea because it's not going to happen. Your ideas are always going to develop, always going to elevate, always going to change. Just get it done. And if the opportunity to make it bigger, to make it grander, to make it more exciting comes, then that's when you can do that. But don't wait. Don't wait because you will be waiting forever. And I know that it can be a little scary to express yourself creatively, especially when I feel like creatively, how you express yourself is really true to you and really comes from your heart and how you understand life and how you understand yourself. So it's very vulnerable to express yourself creatively because you're showing a very personal, very intimate side of yourself. And I understand how scary that can be. But that's what makes you you. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what's gonna make you stand out. That's what people need. You are perfectly imperfect just as you are. And that's what makes you special. Perfection is extremely subjective, and you're always going to come across somebody who doesn't see value in what you do. But you're also always gonna come across people who see so much value in what you do, so much motivation, inspiration. They're going to appreciate it. So yes, you may find somebody who doesn't like it, who will judge you, and you're afraid of being judged, of being seen, because that makes you very vulnerable. I get that. But you deserve that spotlight. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to express your creative self. And anybody who has something to say are just upset because they can't do it themselves. So they'd rather pick on somebody else for being able to be brave enough to do that. Trust me, I understand how scary it is to show those parts of yourself. I write poetry. I used to keep that all to myself. Granted, people knew that I wrote poetry, but as far as sharing my poems, I was so scared. One, because I didn't know if they were even good enough, but that's subjective. It just depends on your audience, whoever's reading it, and how they can relate to it. I also was scared that I might get judged because a lot of the things that I wrote about were parts of my life that I'm either not very proud of or I'm ashamed of and still affect me. Having anybody hear those pieces made me feel very vulnerable. One of the biggest things that has helped me push through these blocks, these insecurities, is making things just to make them, is remembering why I'm an artist in the first place. Remembering what makes me feel creative, what made me fall in love with what I do is the passion, the making art just to make art, the creative freedom of messing up and fixing things or learning or, being a student of the arts. All of that, being imperfect, exploring, it just does something to you creatively. There's no structure, there's no box that you have to put yourself in. You do it because you're passionate. You do it because it makes you happy. You do it because you feel like yourself when you do it. It feels like home to you. It feels like you're at the right place at the right time. Allowing imperfection in the public. As somebody who likes structure, who doesn't like being bad at something, now I embrace being new to something. I find it to be a fun challenge. I find it to be an adventure. I find that I learn so much about myself in the process, and you have no idea what's gonna happen. Allowing yourself to show up as somebody who doesn't have it all together, as somebody who doesn't know everything, who can't do everything right away, naturally. Everybody that you know or that you've heard of that has become an expert in something, that has become well known in something, they all started somewhere. This is the big one that every creative is going to understand. I guarantee it. Done is better than being silent. I have gone so long without putting any of my ideas out. I have gone so long working on things to make them perfect, to make them enough, to have enough money, to have the right amount of equipment or the right type of equipment, or perfecting the script or perfecting the idea. I have done that so much that I look back now and I could have had so much content put out. I could have really made a name for myself as an independent filmmaker. And you can do that too. Get it out there. Done is better than unfinished, than not done. How are you ever going to learn your creative style unless you test things out? Unless you see what you like and what you don't like. Unless you put stuff out for people to see, for people to get to know you as a creative. It's okay to suck. But you learn about you learn about your creative style during the process. It's the same thing with like editing. I'm learning my editing style through the process of editing. I'm probably not that great at it, but I am getting better. That's what happens when you're exploring your creativity. You have to find out who you are in the process. You're not gonna know right away. If you do, blessing. And it doesn't matter if you get 3 views or 2 million. That's not where the courage comes from. The courage comes from putting it out there, showing people who you are, showing people what you can do. You have no idea how people are gonna react. I know you're scared, but do it anyway. What do you really have to lose? You don't need to be fearless, but you do need to push through it. And you need to stop letting it decide what gets created. You decide that.